Today we are going to talk about the different types of essays. जो एग्जाम में अक्सर आते हैं, three most common types of essays are agree, disagree. ये recently भी एक student को आया था, Manish who gave his test on this Saturday, right? He got the question about library, not library, mobile phones. Okay, mobile phones should be banned in public places such as libraries and shops. Do you agree or disagree? अब यहाँ पर you should either agree or disagree, or even if you go with partially agree, it's still okay. But try going with one-sided opinion, okay? So, यहाँ पर agree disagree a common type of question. The other one is discuss both views and give your opinion. And the third one is do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. So these are the three most common types of questions which appear in your IELTS writing. Others are problems and solutions, causes and solutions. And the other one is discuss the advantages and disadvantages. And the other one is this a positive or a negative development? Okay. And sometimes I'm going to ask the reason that why is this a positive or a negative development? So the question जो हम discuss कर रहे थे, जो ये Saturday को आया था recent 4 दिन पहले, it was mobile phones like should be banned. A ban का first thing is to write an introduction, which is nothing but you rephrase, you paraphrase the question. So, mobile phone should be banned. So, आप उसको क्या लिख सकते हैं? Mobile phone should be prohibited. So, it is believed that mobile phone should be prohibited, right, in public places such as libraries and supermarkets or shops, whatever. Now, if you are agreeing, then you have to write why they should be banned. Right? If you are disagreeing, you have to write in defense of that. Why they should not be banned, why they should be allowed. Now, if you want to give a balanced opinion, you can even mention that, in my opinion, or I agree that they should be banned in some instances, but on the whole, they should be allowed. So, first body paragraph, why they should be restricted. Right? So, banned and restricted both. You are free to give your opinion. So the first body paragraph should be focusing on why they should be restricted. So to begin, अब इसके repercussions का मतलब bad consequences, right, of using mobile phones in libraries can be far reaching. Far reaching का मतलब बहुत आगे तक जाते हो, उससे बहुत बड़े problems हो सकते हैं. क्या हो सकते हैं? It can lead to, libraries की जब बात आती है, so it can lead to privacy issues, and you can mention that. Or else you can even mention about as libraries predominantly demand concentration of the readers, right? Usage of mobile phones can prevent people or hinder का मतलब prevent them from concentrating, right? These are some general points. Sometimes you can even mention another reason behind this is copyright के जो books होते हैं, कभी कभार लोग उसके फोटोस लेकर शेयर कर लेते हैं. So होता क्या है? The confidential information of that particular author, published by that author, is leaked. Right? Also, you can even mention. You can give an example. Example is very important, and examples mean it's always recommended to give real life examples. From your experience, it's okay, or some general example. And other example is related to statistical examples, which is okay. काम चलाने के लिए काफी है, उससे 6.5 है, बच्चों को आ जाते हैं. Now, second body paragraph should be focusing on that they should be allowed with some restrictions. So, what can you write there? Emergency में contact करने के लिए phone is the most reliable source, right? So, you can mention about that. उसके साथ साथ you can even mention that moreover, right? It is also important to allow mobile phones because they can keep, important, like source of communication during emergencies, right? Any other point from your side?
Yes.
Yeah, you can take.
Payment.
Payment, yeah, exactly. Shops may, yeah, you can mention it. As cards are not accepted everywhere, okay, you can mention that. Payments can be made. Okay, shops can be a point mentioned. Okay, you can write an example. For instance, your mobile phones can also allow people to directly communicate with their family members, right, during shopping. Right? कुछ images हैं वो click करके अपने family वालों को भी जा सकते हैं if they are living like far away from them, to select the appropriate all these things. So this was quite easy question, right? It was not very tough, but you have to remember that these questions can appear. In the most recent question, it was many people live. ये agree disagree नहीं. I think positive or negative development आया था. Arafat was my student. He got this. Many people live in houses with little outdoor spaces or no outdoor, little or no outdoor spaces. इसका मतलब क्या है? Let's understand. చాలా మంది చిన్న ఇల్లులలో ఉంటారు, వాళ్ళకి అవుట్డోర్ స్పేసెస్ ఉండవు. అంటే డైరెక్ట్ రోడ్ మీద ఇల్లు ఉంటుంది, దానికి ద మెయిన్ డోర్ there's a door which is on the road, right? So you don't have any outdoor space for that house. So the question was, many people live in houses with little or no outdoor spaces. Is it a positive or a negative development? Is it good or bad? What does positive mean? Positive का मतलब होता है good. Negative development खराब. So इसको compact houses भी बोल सकते हैं, small houses भी बोल सकते हैं, having very limited, right? Little का मतलब ये limited, right? Tiny कभी भी नहीं लिखना है. Tiny means very small, having limited outdoor areas. In my opinion, now you can go with positive development, complete positive or complete negative, or you can go with the balanced opinion if you are very confused. Although this seems to be positive development up to some extent, overall it is negative. So every essay has 4 parts: introduction, जो कि हम अभी discuss करें, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and conclusion. So what can you write in introduction? Just paraphrasing it, right? It's very simple. Writing an introduction is very simple. Even a novice, a beginner can write an introduction. But your writing skills are mainly, the crux, the heart of your essay is the body paragraph, right? 1 and 2, both body paragraphs, right? So whenever you write this, although this seems to be beneficial in few cases, overall it is negative development. So first body paragraph, क्यों beneficial? To begin, ये छोटे घर जो है are more affordable for people to live, isn't it? Little space, will it be very expensive? No. We can mention that they're generally affordable by people, even to purchase, or we can even mention that to rent as well, right? That is one benefit. We should never write in just one point, these are good to purchase, and go to the other point. To begin, this has few benefits. The predominant one is that these are usually inexpensive. Inexpensive का मतलब सस्ता for people to dwell. Dwell का मतलब होता है live. Right? As these houses are based on like limited area of land, they are generally affordable by people, which can help them to save their money, isn't it? Imagine if I'm living in a very small house. What is the advantage of it? If I rent it or purchase it, it's very cheap. That is one point. What can be another benefit of living in such houses? Any other benefit? Less maintenance. That is true. Imagine if you are living in a house which is this big. If you want to get it repaired, completely refurbished, it's going to cost you a lot. So, वो भी एक point लिख सकते हैं. This is the beginner's way of explaining, right? I'm not going into like 8 band or 7.5, no, 6.5 to 7. ये दो लिखकर आप example भी दे सकते हैं. Now, some people give examples based on statistics. Avoid giving such examples. Statistical examples or research-based examples can be given. I'm not against them, but they should only be given when you don't have any idea of the real example. Right? Sometimes students write, for example, over so and so percentage of people in India live in compact houses or smaller. Still okay. काम चलाओ example है. पानी नड़पिच कोचा example तो ठिकानी. Avoid giving statistical or like just this rough examples for every essay. You can give, for example, living in these smaller houses, can also help people to, what can you say, right? Lesser maintenance from point benefit. So you should never repeat the point in an example, because it's like having limited ideas in your mind. You can give that as an example, but second point should change. So what can be the benefit? For instance, living in smaller houses, let's think, see, these are not so easy. We have to think in a realistic way. So living in smaller houses, right, these things can एक तो है saving money by less expenditure. Second thing, this thing, help people to have maintenance. So we have already mentioned. Any point from your side? These are slightly tougher topics, right? I mean, not so easy to get an idea. It makes you think. It should make you think. So living in smaller houses. Okay, you can mention. Even costs less if there is any reconstruction, right? Or refurbishment of homes, right? Refurbishment का point mention नहीं करे, right? So it usually costs less when people refurbish their house. You can mention that, nothing wrong. Now, drawbacks. Overall, it is a negative development. So we have to mention what is negatives are quite high. You can mention on the other hand, or conversely. Conversely का मतलब on the contrary, on the opposite side. Or conversely, or on the other hand, comma. There are more convincing arguments. Convincing का मतलब opinion. There are more convincing arguments in favor of this being a negative development, because these houses mainly can have issues related to parking, right, which can obstruct the roads. Imagine if your house is very small, you don't have any outdoor area, where will you park your car? On the road. It leads to obstruction of traffic. It can even lead to heated arguments between people and you. That is true. You can mention that. Or else you can even mention about, people may not have proper space to pursue their hobbies. Or else you can even mention about this thing, poor ventilation. And then you can give an example of, for instance, avoid giving this research and all this. If you don't have any idea, if your mind is completely blank, then go with that example. You can give, for instance, you can also mention accommodating. It can have issues, but these houses have the ability to accommodate limited number of people, right? Leading to privacy issues. Examiner will feel happy if you write such points. Privacy issues. Is it wrong answer? No. It is a very strong example. If you write an example which is based on numbers or statistics, for example, research has shown that people who live in smaller houses are angry. Not so good. It doesn't give you much score. Examiner looks at your thoughts. So logically speaking, your IELTS essay writing is a reflection of your thoughts. Your thoughts are showcased on a piece of paper. And it's also important to write the correct spellings. ये भी बहुत important है. चाला सालों students correct spellings rare and it's very important for you to write the correct spelling. So hope you understood. So these two questions, you can ask anyone who has taken their IELTS tests from Hyderabad. They got these last 4 days ago. Right? Saturday को ये आया था. Libraries, phone should be banned in libraries. Do you agree or disagree? उसके 2 to 3 weeks पहले ये आया. And another one, if I remember correctly, it's about this thing. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? So what do you mean by do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Which ones are higher for this thing? For example, if I just say like this, a very simple question to help you understand. Outweigh का मतलब being greater in number or quantity. If I say one thing, outsell का मतलब selling greater than. If I say that OnePlus phones outsell iPhones, which means OnePlus phones, they sell more than iPhones. If I say that Honda outperforms Royal Enfield, का मतलब Honda performs better than Royal Enfield, the engine performance. Outweigh का मतलब being greater in weightage than. Okay. Many students they get confused with the word outweigh. And so I don't understand this word. No, it's not very tough. Outweigh का मतलब being greater in number or amount. Which ones are more significant? Are the drawbacks more significant or are the advantages more significant? So imagine if I tell a question. Many people prefer living in metropolitan cities by migrating from rural areas. Do the advantages of this outweigh the disadvantages? Imagine if many people are migrating to larger cities from rural areas. Are the advantages significant or are the disadvantages significant? It's up to you. So how can you paraphrase introduction? There is in today's contemporary world. Contemporary का मतलब modern world, right? There is an upsurge. Upsurge का मतलब increase in the number of immigrants from countryside or rural areas to larger cities. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? You can mention it. Although this has few limited advantages, the disadvantages outweigh them. Although बड़े फायदे हैं, but disadvantages are high. First body paragraph you can mention about the advantages. What can be the advantages? Job opportunities, employment opportunities. So the people who are from the impoverished का मतलब poor backgrounds, गरीब. हैदराबाद में आप देखिए बेगमपेट में, जुबली हिल्स में, बंजारा हिल्स में, you will hardly see local people there. You're going to see people from different states, different villages working for like different companies. So increased employment rate for the people from impoverished backgrounds. One strong point. Second one, क्योंकि countryside से आने वाला majority of the times they're going to be from some poor background, right? Not criticizing anyone, but that is one point. Employment. What can be another benefit? Better medical infrastructure, very good, so they can get treatments done. Very nice. You can mention and elaborate that and give an example. For instance, you can mention that living in metropolitan cities also gives them higher standard of living. I mean, provides the higher standard of living. Right. Okay. Now you can education be example with this. Yeah, they have international schools around this. It's not drawbacks. So we are saying that this drawbacks of this are stronger. So what can be the drawbacks? So conversely, or on the other hand, the disadvantages of this, you can mention about overcrowding, right? Which can lead to increased vehicular usage, which can worsen. आज मैं एक वर्ड बोला था, exacerbate. Exacerbate का मतलब होता है worsen, खराब करना. Which can worsen the air quality. अब दिल्ली का हाल देखिए, हैदराबाद का भी हाल देखिए. You can mention that. There is nothing wrong in that. Increased traffic से होता क्या है? Pollution बढ़ता है, traffic congestion होता है, delays. It can prevent people from reaching their destinations on time. That is one strong point. In addition, it can also lead to inflation in accommodation prices, and people below poverty line may not be having access to some good housing. And you can give an example. For instance, अगर लोग countryside छोड़ेंगे तो there will be a dearth. Dearth का मतलब होता है shortage. इसको how to remember? Death तो आपके DEATH, death. How to remember dearth? DEA, you just add R. Dearth का मतलब shortage. Scarcity भी बोल सकते हैं, shortage of farmers. In UK, do you see people from urban areas going and doing farming? No. So it can lead to shortage of farmers, which can eventually, lead to scarcity of food. You can mention that, right? And then you can just write a conclusion. Conclusion, you rephrase the question, you restate the opinion. To conclude, you have to, in conclusion, right? The trend of migrating to larger cities or urban areas from rural areas is soaring. Soaring का मतलब rapidly increasing, right? This has its own implications, and the what is disadvantages of this outweigh the advantages. That is what you mentioned. Okay. So you have to write this in 250 points. Okay. Not very tough, but sometimes it can be a bit challenging. So you have to be very alert with what you write. Never just write farmers are moving. No, moving is not the right word. You have to write migrating. Maybe it's moving, right? Permanently वो लोग shift हो रहे हैं, that's migrating. That is what it is. Okay. Any questions so far? So that's it for today, people. All right, and if you have liked this video, you can comment if you have any questions, and do subscribe to my channel. Inka IELTS videos kavalante, you can just comment down below. Goodbye.